Yes, the tree of liberty must be refreshed with the blood of martyrs and tyrants.
سبحان خالق الإخبار.
Oh, you're just feeling it now? Well, welcome to the front lines. 24 years in the trenches. The search for truth. All of the false flags. All of the lies. All of the stooge reports from the conspiracy horsemen. And now you see. Now you see why. Here on the Friday Locker Room. Hameen Media Group. Assassination Day. Rise and pray. We don't come to lie on the fire. We come to dance in the embers here where it's always hot in the locker room. Tough to breathe. You feel it closing in around you all the time. The fear, the loathing, the 2 minutes of hate, the cover-ups, the lies, the insufficient data, and all because there's a war going on within this country, and it has been for a long time. And they don't care about my life. They don't care about your life. They just care about staying in control. Well, this might be one of the last bastions we have. And even this one was threatened many times by those control mechanisms that are still in place, that still have all the technology, the algorithms, the AIs, and the lies. And we'll see what we uncover here today, man. Tough to talk about wrestling when everybody's having a visceral reaction of watching a live assassination of someone who's tried to actually unify to some degree by keeping the lines of communications open instead of just ignorantly screaming into the void or having your echo chamber spit how intelligent you are back at you. To walk actually into an institution that has been corrupted by tenured professors who've never really done anything in their life except protect their spot inside their own little educational bubble where they spin these yarns and don't understand what real life is about and poison the mind of generation after generation after generation. And our secret societies that are spun out of that, and our three-letter agencies that are the true enemy of the Republic. And you mix all that together and try and make it into a news story, and it turns out as a family loss more than it is a brick in the foundation of this puppet cliche facade that we all have to live through every day. And it's maddening. And throughout history, whether it's Archduke Ferdinand, can't remember who started revolutionary. Well, obviously, there's plenty of revisionist history, but a spark like this can get real dangerous real fast and turn into a blazing inferno of chaos. And that is exactly what they want. And I've said it thousands of times. Problem, reaction, solution. And we'll take a look at what everybody's seeing in their timeline, obviously, and skip to the ring and cover some wrestling headlines. But my co-pilot for this mission, as always, MSG. Nobody else I'd rather be in the studio with today, buddy. How you doing, pal?
Very, very polarizing conversations yesterday. A lot of people really showing their true colors when it comes to the value of a human life. The arguments that I've seen that have been happening. The argument that I had with somebody last night who I've known for over 10 years got upset just because I pointed out the fact that, like, whether you like or dislike someone, that doesn't mean they should just be brutally murdered like that.
Yeah.
You know, we've got 9/11, remembering 9/11 today. I mean, it's a action-packed show we've got here on the Friday Locker Room.
Yeah, big action fest, explosions, assassinations. This movie's got it all. What a goddamn flick!
I'm just
You
upset.
know what we don't have? A hero. All we have is heels and heat.
I'm just upset that my Horseman shirt was dirty.
Yeah.
I saw you rocking it today.
They're real dirty, all the Horsemen, man. And obviously Horseman chat was blowing up last night. And I don't know, I'm trying to pick my tenure, obviously, to start the show off with something a little bit, you know, real. But you know, everyone's like, I'm not trying to just mock you like Vince. Well, I just saw the front true colors. Like a lot of people are feeling that sentiment, and it's because people are in a shock state, and your first flight or fight response, especially when you're disconnected. And what is the most powerful emotions? Fear. Fear turns to hate. Hate turns to the dark side. And that's what they want, fear and loathing and Orwellian 2 minutes of hate. And enough's enough. This madness in America has to stop. Well, what is that? What is the underlying subconscious message when they get people to say that? Take all guns. That's what they're saying. Like that's what they're putting underneath there. Or the left are all crazy. They need to be done out of America. If you believe that there's two sides and two parties, you should also believe that wrestling is real. There is two sides, and it's on the same side under the same umbrella. And there is a swamp drain, deep state, get these people out of here. What do you think happens when you fire 1,800 people from clandestine organizations who are disgruntled or already had it out for you and have been pulling ops underneath the guise of FBI and CIA for 25 years? When those people are identified and pushed out, do you think they're more dangerous now or less dangerous? And this is what we have. And here's like, everyone is always this tragedy that we've seen. I mean, this is almost the exact same feeling of watching a movie as when Michael Corleone comes out of the bathroom with a pistol and shoots the police commissioner in the fucking throat. And he's, we just watched Charlie Kirk take a fucking neck shot. And I knew right away, especially seeing the up close in the timeline, that there is no coming back from that. I mean, shot deer with almost that same shot, and it was over in 20 seconds. There's no get to the hospital and fix this. That's a lethal mortal wound that shows that humans are nothing more than flesh sacks filled with fluid, really, in our mortal coil. And horrific and shock and awe like those college kids will never experience before in their life. You want to pay a premium price for an education. That's the lesson. That's the lesson of what you're trying to get into or hear your voice heard, and you think everything's important. And that's how quick they'll end you if you go against the system openly. And now, why do you think there is no conspiracy horseman? Conspiracy horseman always ahead of the curve, years ahead of the curve. Also years ahead of the curve and getting out of the game. Well, you're not on the level. You're not on college campuses. You know what I did for fucking 18 years? Going out in front of the most uneducated fans with PTSD, and to do what I did. Like, that couldn't have happened at any given Sunday or any Saturday night, rather. Now you see why. And what they don't see, and when they're lamenting, obviously, is family and his young children and wife, and just insane that they created another Kennedy. And the people who probably were behind this were probably behind the ones with Kennedy within one or two generations. This is what they do to hold on to power in DC at any cost, or upset the system so they can come in and claim for more of their own. What no one is even saying, and because that's why I say it's a facade. Nobody, I'm a rifleman, just trained in the woods. And even with a clear shot, 200 yards is fucking so far, so long. 600 feet is a long shot. From a prone position on a roof over a crowd at an angle, that's not a rifleman who shoots deer or anything like. With one shot, a lethal neck and head shot, that's one type of person. Military trained, obviously a solo operator in the shot is what they are seeing one person flee, but that's a coordinated attack on the ground, when to do it, like to set up. So there's already talk of foreign entities to try and create a boogeyman, which is straight out of 1984, to put it on anybody instead of looking right where it came from, which is within our own system. On 9/11, they're going to play the fucking thing over again of Taliban and 19 Saudi hijackers with box cutters, when we know exactly who it was inside of our own dark systems and what family names were meeting that day and where the receipts were for FBI investigations for corruptions and Enron and missing gold and missing $2.3 trillion. And we just let these people walk. And maybe yesterday was to divert from attention from today from that, because there's been a lot of Gen Xers holding high level discussions and trying to actually get the 9/11 truth out finally, because we're not going to go through a JFK ordeal like our idiot parents did for fucking 60 years. Not when we can tell that and get payback on those who are still alive right now, chopping fucking wood on their ranch in Texas, acting like they're fucking over. So this could be that. What happened earlier, about 24 hours earlier, 48 hours earlier, Nepal is overthrown in a coup d'etat. Those things don't happen. You don't have the president pitchforked and running into the river and his wife burned alive in their home without CIA saying yes, do it, and who is controlling these ops, or someone who was the station chief that was released and now goes, oh, you want to fire me from my job and doge me? Okay. And they set into plan X to do that kind of shit, to stir up the world. And it's all concocted in some boardroom where they've done this before many times, for Clinton kill list, for Anthony Weiner, for whatever it is they're trying to cover up and hide, for Hunter Biden. And they hide behind this party of peace, or they hide behind the fact that they're even left. There is none of this. This is one side, and it's a war within the factions we pay for, allegedly, with taxes and to keep this shit going. And then even the other shooter, already forgotten about in a very Jedi way of, oh, hey, he was trans. And every one of his clips that he had some message on it that whatever group you're in, you could fucking attach yourself to and spew your hate towards him that way. And satanic message and Russian things written in Metamorphosis, Kafka, and already forgotten about. And his dad was in the FBI for 29 years as an operator. These people have coughed up their own children to whatever weird cabal they're in, sexually wise, ideology wise, religion wise, satanic, Christian, Jewish, or whatever it is that they're about. And now you're seeing these things in motion, just constantly happening to become normalized in our society. And like, how far do we got to go back to start looking at truths? Because if you say S-Hook and talk about Wolfgang Helbig, you saw what they did with Alex. If you talk about Vegas and talk about shooting up and down the strip, or how did the sheriff from Vegas end up in Hawaii when the directed energy weapon attack, I mean, the wildfire happened. Like, if you're paying attention, even to the littlest bit, you're going mad going, how does the rest of the world not see these simple acts repeated over and over and over and over and over again? And then you go, well, AJ Lee's skipping to the ring and they're cheering, and it all makes sense. It's dark days, man. And like, yeah, is it fucked up to watch a young man have his life taken from him? But the way they want to frame it up is definitely not what it is. So is anybody on MSNBC, on CNN, on Fox News saying a novice does not make a 200-yard shot, one clean neck shot over a crowd by himself from an elevated position, and fucking that it's not an op with other people on the radio giving the go ahead and all this types of shit? It does not happen like that. I invite anyone to go to the range with me on an open range, and I will set, you can use any of my whips, and fucking 200 yards out, I will give you 3 shots, and I guarantee you will not hit a watermelon. It will not happen. That is a highly trained rifleman, military grade training, sniper. And once you ask that question on mainstream news, well, then any narrative of it was a trans shooter, it was an AR-15. If you made that shot with an open sight AR-15, you are fucking unbelievable. You're the greatest rifleman of all time, possibly. It's just not going to stop. And now that you are taking away the true thing, the freedom of speech, out of fear of anybody bringing us together, because that's really what this is about. Not because he says things I don't like. It's because we are coming together for a conversation, even if it's a heated battle of back and forth, and some young, foolish, indoctrinated child at college, your mom goes to college, is having a debate with a right winger who's got a lot of research of his own and open thought and facts to back it up, as opposed to arguments based on feelings that Generation Useless has been trained on since they got their participation trophies in hand. That once they're exposed and the kid wants to sound smart because they paid $20,000 a semester to speak eloquently, is handed their ass over and over and over again with facts and true figures. That's the conversation. That kid might wake up and now we might find common ground, whatever it is. At least we're talking. If you end the talking, you got to keep them separated. And that's how you control people. And that's far more dangerous to this establishment than any conversation about trans rights, gun rights, immigration, all that shit. The thing they fear most is unification. And that's what Charlie Kirk was laying the groundwork for. Sure, they might be YouTube hot gotcha clips for right wingers to go, ha ha ha, look at those stupid college kids. Yeah, they're stupid college kids. That's what they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be pretending to be adults, but they barely stopped wiping their own ass. They haven't lived in a fucking shit apartment, a studio for years, wondering how you're going to keep the lights on and stuff. These are coddled children who feast on whatever LGBTQ fucking professor tells them to go out there and spew. And then when the professors step up, Charlie Kirk would have civil discourse with them and show that they are in the bubble and don't understand how the real world really works. Maybe it works like that on whatever Ivy League university campus, but not truthfully. So that is, to me, the more of the reason to do it and to shake up the right. And that makes me believe, with everything I see here logistically, that this is not a coup d'etat, but definite American terrorist attack from inside of our own clandestine agencies. And I wouldn't doubt that it was organized by those who were just pushed out, because this is very JFK. I want to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and let it become dust in the wind. I believe I'm paraphrasing poorly, but that is what Trump is doing. And those are the organizations that have had a lock on us. You want to go back to 1995, Oklahoma City? Like, watched it live in real time, and all the pieces still don't add up. And they've been pulling that level of terror against American citizens since then. So 30 years straight, unrelenting, maybe a 2-year window. And in that 2-year window, what did they do? Hit us all with a bio attack. That's who the real enemy is. It's all the enemy from within. And I've said it plenty of times. These top-level soldiers, these top-level generals, they swore an oath to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Where are they? I'm down with them being in D.C. and South Side of Chicago. I love Chicago. And it fucking kills me to see what it's become. It wasn't safe when I was even there, but now it's fucking insane. And you get so poisoned by this shit and these fucking 501c corporation minority leaders that sneak their way into power under the guise of we're going to help somebody, and the murder rate keeps going up. So who are you really helping? No one. So now they want to keep their street cred, but they still want $1 million 501c payday. That's what keeps Chicago and cities like that in constant shit. So they can suck more money out of the coffers and under the guise of social equity. And then when that comes to pass, then it's a whole nother story. And you get operations like this just to swat the hornet's nest. And then when they get stung, they go, oh, why am I getting stung? Because you're the one who fucking hit it. People want to work together. People want unification. People are tired of that. And that's the last thing those in power want, because they can't control us. And it's unfortunate because shows like this need to be set across multiple channels by multiple people. But everyone wants their piece of the fame and fortune, the Raja Jackson commentary, the whatever, the shock and awe, the reaction video, the fucking clicks, the thumbs up, the likes, the shares, the go fuck yourself. And they can't see past their own fucking hand of what it is, because that's where their phone is, and their own gratification off of a man's assassination. They don't see a far bigger picture of what the true ideology of the Freemasons who set this country up truly were against tyranny. Instead, we are all that and more. We're fucking that King George shit on Florida water, baby. You thought tyranny was before. We've mastered it. And now we'll shift the blame that it wasn't Oceanica, it was Eurasia, and we'll off missiles there. So, and in a week, some other ill shit will happen, and Charlie Kirk will just become a folklore story. And that is the unfortunate human existence of being petty and easily manipulated and entertainment, even if it's bloodlust. And usually, I mean, here's the other thing too, is people are like, oh, the Charlie Kirk tragedy, oh, 9/11. And then overarching all of that is like this conspiracy of November, the aliens will be here. You think anybody will be talking Charlie Kirk or fucking $2.3 trillion when that happens? So buckle up, kiddies, and welcome to the ride. And like I said, in this I, me, my culture, last night, as much as I had to feel it as a human being like anybody else did, I was just going, I'm glad we're not doing Horsemen, because what could have been if we did Horsemen through the last 4 or 5 years. I'm not saying I'm out in open that way. Dude, as soon as we interviewed John McAfee, Wolfgang Hellbig, the Google whistleblower, things changed. So, yeah, what's the solution? I don't know. Does eye for an eye even work? does because then you're going, it's the right coming back on the left instead of actually seeing, no, the locker room's together back there. It's just some guys who got future endeavored that are fucking pissed about it. And now they're going completely ballistic, and I think this is, like I said, we've been in this war, but this is just the beginning to me, because people are going to use this as a reason to do stupid shit. And there's a lot of fucking idiots out there, you know what I mean, who are just reactionary and are not forward thinkers, and their cause is the most important thing to them for whatever their truthful reason is. But they just don't know how to forward the ball without using violence at this point. And problem, reaction, solution. If we're already conditioning people to have military in their cities, doesn't that seem like a planned uprising? You're trying to push them to that, and we've got our front lines ready, so then we can then do what? Like, are you going to bump feed for them? That's what they are doing right here. You just took one. Are you going to stand up and take another clothesline? Or are you going to powder out and go, fuck you? I know what I'm doing. It's I don't predict good things, man, in the next 2 months, to be honest with you. Even as much as people are like, this has to end, it's not going to. Whether it was Luigi up close and that type of political statement, that's been buried. You want to talk about, like, for the left side could say, is the Trump side doing this to do that? Like, I can argue it right-wing conspiracy aspect all day, and then put yourself in the other side of the shoes of those who don't want to give up power or are slighted. Or is it, do we manufacture a false flag so we can then enact what we want to do to take this country over and go through whatever process it is to expedite people out of here? Like, all of these things are possibilities and probabilities with the super rich, super evil that control everything. So to not put it past them, well, then all the simple argument is, okay, tell me about Trump's assassination attempt, both of them. Tell me more about the shooters. I'm listening. No, nothing. Oh, okay. So you have all the upper hand on, you could expose those who sent them to you, but you're not. And why? Because maybe it was you that staged it. Maybe it is to get a reaction and control the media. Maybe, and no, that's not how it is. Well, hey, I'm left to draw my own conclusion. If you're pleading the fifth, I have to think, what is the worst case of manipulation scenario possible? Because I am a worker and I fucking work everybody I can when I'm supposed to, or distrust everybody that I'm getting worked, because a worker should not be getting worked. So I have to look at it from every angle. Does the common man do that? No. They respond to stimulus, and are led in a very operantly conditioned way down whichever ideologue hallway they want to push you down. So I'm just kind of enjoying the holiday season. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing fine for the most part. I think what's interesting is, it's very polarizing, the events that are going on. I posted this morning on my Facebook that I think both things can be right. I think that you can say, hey, I didn't like what this guy was saying, but you can also say, I don't condone violence. But I think so many individuals are shifted to one side of their thought process, or an aisle, or religion, or whatever it is, and they're not willing to see the forest through the trees. They're not willing to have conversations with other people to try and understand what the other side is saying, or what the other individual is saying. It's all either he deserved it or he didn't deserve it. And people, and as you pointed out, whether or not you believed Charlie Kirk's life was valuable is all subjective, right? Because, like, half the country who are Republicans might have really liked this guy. So they're waking up yesterday, or they're going through their day, and all of a sudden somebody who they believe in is now gone. And then the other half is saying, well, I didn't really like the rhetoric. He talked about trans issues and gun control. And or it's ironic that he was talking about gun control and then he was shot down while he was talking about it. I don't know. It's just I'm having, I guess, trouble coming to the grips that we live in a society where people are not willing to have those conversations anymore. And I know that it's been going on for, about a decade now, or even more than that, 24 years. Let's go back to 9/11. But it's just really hard to come to grips with that people aren't willing to have those conversations, that it's devolved into people yelling and screaming at each other or cutting each other off. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. Or, unfriend me, leave me alone. It's sad. And I think that it totally, it goes against what we are as humans. We should be having these conversations. We should be trying to learn from each other. We should be all working together to try and root out the evil from this world. But instead, it's put out there for us to divide us, or people live in their echo chambers that they don't want to hear other stories, and they don't want to have those conversations. So, and this is all, of course, yesterday, that wasn't the only thing that happened. There was another school shooting, right, in Colorado that took place. And the day before that, there was a Ukrainian girl who was killed on a train. So, I mean, all these different events that have happened over the last 48 hours. And as you mentioned, something else will probably happen next week, and this will all be forgotten about.
And the dude who, the murderer who killed that girl on the train, is now saying that he was MK Ultra. Like, I don't know if I was a lawyer, I would use that defense. Absolutely at this point. But who's to say it's not true, bro? And that these are, like I said, assets that were in place, and someone who's been fired, fucking Colorado, possibly the biggest Illuminati state that there is, with deep underground military bases, Blucifer, and the fucking airport, and everything that's rumored beyond there, and the most school shootings, starting with the original Columbine.
Yeah.
And even then, that put me on with Everything You Know Is Wrong series from Disinfo, as I look at the book, to break down what was effed up then. There was no internet to go to and sites to YouTube, and when that shit went down, 98.
I think what disturbs me too is the fact that social media is pushing a lot of this. Like, I didn't wake up yesterday from a nap and go, oh, I'm going to go watch the Charlie Kirk assassination. I just woke up and boom, there it was in my timeline, in all my social media timelines.
Well, everybody wants to be first to the table with shock and awe, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what it is I've got the viral clip, and maybe they'll look at mine, or somebody who's over will retweet it because I put it out there, as opposed to, hey, Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck, watch this. Like, yeah, that is the addiction to social media and dopamine hits of likes at any cost, and now snuff films of, I don't think he'd want to call himself an educator, a debater, poli-sci philosopher, maybe, to use that as like, that's our clickbait now. It shows how savage. You said we're better as humans, and I didn't want to scoff. I think, are we? Are we better as humans?
I think we can be.
We've got slaves in Saudi Arabia. Are we better as humans? We've got slaves in Africa and diamond mines. Are we better as humans? We assassinated people to start wars. Almost 100 and what was World War I, 1919, right in there. 106 years ago. That was when the Archduke Ferdinand was assassinated. We've killed presidents in front of people in Dallas, our own fucking government, because they were Irish mob and somebody else was old school fucking Massachusetts Plymouth Rock Quakers who didn't want to give up their spot. That, are we different as people?
I mean, I think we have the capability to be better. Whether or not we're actually doing that is a whole other argument, right?
Yeah, I don't know if we have the capability. Were we engineered to be fucking psychotic and vindictive? at the end of the day, that we are capable of love and we see the way forward with universal energy and parallel thoughts. But those that are at the top want violence, death, and destruction, and that's what they sell. Whether it's hip hop, whether it's Grand Theft Auto, whether it's Call of Duty. So you get more and more used to seeing, oh, I shot my buddy in the video game in a throat shot. So when you see Charlie Kirk hit on your timeline, it just becomes,
right?
Yeah. No, you can't play video games for that. Okay. Go study operant conditioning for just, I don't know, an afternoon. Maybe you'll start to understand that this fucking shit was pioneered by Germans, was brought here for commercial and political reasons, and has been put into everything since television became an invention. And that is what they have used to turn us into the lab rats that we are, to respond to whatever stimuli they pump through the pipe. And there might be 5% like ourselves that see it all and call it out, but the 85% are still running off the end of the fucking cliff, hair on fire for whatever their fucking cause is, bro. And why? Because if we ever came together, those small few in power they'd be on the receiving end of a 200-yard sniper round. And where you go watch the movie The Rock now about the fucking military general that takes over VX gas rockets pointed at fucking San Francisco, and go, he was the bad guy in this movie when I watched it 25 years ago, but now where is G.I. Joe? Because Cobra is taking over.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, it's we as a society, you know, they don't want us to be unified, right? I mean, because then we would just uprise over the powerful people in position, right? We
almost did, and then they put people in jail for a year because they were truly scared of what they saw that day in January, were they not? They still reference it now as a heat pass. And meanwhile, it was all stirred up and concocted by inside FBI fucking operators to turn it into something that it wasn't. But what it might have been and could have been. A true Revolutionary War spirit from true patriots that had had enough of living under the guise of a two-party system. Meanwhile, you watch the Speaker of the House, what her stock portfolio went up, 400% since she's been in office. You're supposed to sit here with a fucking smile and take moral code from these fucking people.
Scott Woodford, shout out you, 199 Super Chats. The Civil War 2025 brought to you by BlackRock.
And Palantir.
How far do you think we are away from a Civil War at this point, Ben?
I think you're in it. What more do you want? You want me and you to fucking square up?
No.
Like, how far do you want? Are we going to take it? Because you're talking Civil War. Guys had to walk to war back in the day, right?
Right.
When we learned this Civil War, or we watch Gettysburg, or we watch whatever fucking movie that, if I was in there, I would have done this. Yeah. Get shot in the fucking leg with a 50 caliber lead musket ball and see what the fuck you're doing, son. People don't understand who aren't around guns or have never taken the life of an animal, or hopefully not a human being, or animals. That's proven over and over again. And that the power of death in your hand, and when you do that, there's no coming back from that. And you better be damn ready to live with the consequences. Even shooting deer, you're kind of like, oh. No one's like, yeah, kill. And if you do, you're a fucking complete psychopath. But you know, that's part of being part of the food chain, I guess, even though we may not need it. But sorry, I'm getting off topic here. What you had said
Civil War. We're in Civil War. Is what you said.
Yeah, dude. What are you going to load up the boys with the fucking shotguns and rifles, and then we're going to go what? Invade Chicago to fucking, like, what does civil war look like in 2025? And I don't see like the cul-de-sacs coming together and fucking HOAs and all that. There's just too much population and whatnot now. Civil war will be this.
The digital media civil war, if you will.
That and a lockdown and cages for dissenters. Not just it'll start. It has started. It started with minority races, and it really started with that invasion. That invasion that was engineered by, as they'll put it on Biden or whatever. Like I said, there is no left or right. There is only the evil who wants the downfall of the Federal Republic or the control of it in a certain way. And what their plan was to open up the fucking doors to every country. So to overthrow their hate of the white oligarchy that they've been conditioned since second grade, that the white man is bad because they own slaves, a super minority. They don't talk about abolitionists or Quakers or anybody like that was saying abolish slavery at that time. It's all revisionist history, right? But at the end of the day, white man bad has to go. Open the floodgates. We're going to overbreed them. And in 20, 30 years, that's their plan. That's their eugenics plan of what they wanted to do, whether it's fucking angry militant lesbians or, whatever LGBTQ fucking mafia hat they wear or whatever it is. That was their plan. And the fact now that they wanted to, again, I pay a lot in taxes from Ravens Joint, a lot. And you think I want my money going to fucking people that are getting $1,000 a night hotel rooms and $10,000 a month fucking cards with it loaded on there, have no job whatsoever? Those people are pawns. I don't hate those people. I don't know them, but I know they're being used, and I know that I'm working my ass off to have that money taken. Why? Not just to help out the less. That's how they paint it. Oh, they're here and we got to help them. The bleeding heart liberal side of that. That's what they appeal to. The reality is they're trying to destroy a system so they can put in universal basic income, 15-minute cities, create their own prison planet. These plans aren't stopping. This is what they want, but they have to tear down the other and gain traction through hatred and fear, make me hate these people from Venezuela who I've never met and have never met me and can't even communicate with.
So what would you say to someone, I guess, maybe who's waking up today and they're in fear of where we're at? I mean, how would you?
Welcome to the party, pal. Yeah, dude, like those immigrants are an invasion. Are they armed? Are they whatever? No. And do they pose a huge threat? And the criminal ones, maybe Tren de Aragua and MS-13 and those ones that took over the fucking apartment complex in Colorado. You think they weren't going to arm those dudes? Dude, I came home in Chicago. I've told this story. Like maybe 12:31 in the morning, coming home after closing down Whole Foods. I watched a train pull up behind Cabrini Green, where it used to be, and fucking 40 dudes run out, and I got gun cases. I know what a fucking military gun crate looks like. And they're running across the field with it at 1 a.m. to take it back into the fucking high rise. Like it's been exposed that there was CIA dark sites in Chicago where they chained people to the fucking wall and tortured them. Like, this is going on, but people are like, go Bears. Like, they don't, if that isn't war, what is? Like, what does civil war in America look like? This God bless America 4th of July fireworks level bullshit, while internment camps, black ops using fucking immigration to turn against ICE and to turn, like, now ICE is just, I'm not here to stump for them. I don't know their policies, taking people to fucking Alligator Island or whatever, or sending them to El Salvador, but it's the stiff message back to those people that use them as the chess piece. It's not on the people they're really sending. They're the ones who have to pay the price. But somebody recruited all those people down there. There was millions of dollars that were poured into Venezuela and Mexico and every other place to go, we're going to get you north. It's not just like, oh, the cartels helped them. Yeah. Who do you think works for the cartels? Do you remember the Bush and Reagan's fucking bringing coke in? Meanwhile, there's a DARE program on and they're pumping it right into the fucking hood in the crack epidemic. Where do you think fucking 16-year-olds in Chicago are getting Dracos with double drum clips? You can't go across the fucking border to Indiana and just walk in and go, yeah, give me the Draco, the AK-47, like this shit is by design, brought in by deep state, CIA, FBI, NSA, you name the op. Operation Easy-E, whatever the fuck. And it goes on and on and on. And now the kettle is boiled over. And Civil War to me looks like a cleanup job of going through the hood in Chicago and whatever and getting, you want to talk about gun control, that's where it needs to happen. But obviously these little dudes on the corner are going to be inside, like acting fucking, everything's fine. I go to school, everybody. There's no solution that's real. If it was real, every one of those kids, they fucking gets arrested. I don't give a fuck if you're age 10 to 18, should be taken, put into a program for until they're 18, where they then have to serve 4 to 6 years in the military. Because what are you talking about doing? You're talking about taking a wild hood mentality unchecked for whatever reasons, from the father being gone in the penal system to fucking not caring about life and 28 dying on a fucking weekend, every weekend in Chicago. You need to take those guns from them and give them these guns. You need to retrain them in how to be men and how to be an actual, you want to be in a gang? Yeah, you're in the USA gang and you're going to protect this fucking interest and you're not going to turn this country into shit instead of acting like being wild is a thing to do. And if you got to have them doing push-ups from age 10 to 18 and recondition their mind with the discipline that they are truly begging for, that behavior begets the whole subconscious of going, I wish I fucking had somebody to scold me and tell me how to really behave when they need to, not just we're out here in these streets killing with reckless abandon for credit. Like that's insane. There is no truth in that other statement. It's all that they really want focus. They want to be someone of status. Well, can you work your way up in status of the military and actually fucking retrain these young men that have no future except the penal system? Like that's what we really need, is a fucking military program that is almost jail-like rehabilitation, where they are kept and kept off the streets. And it doesn't matter if you're 10 years old, guess what? You just signed up for 14 years by being caught with a gun on the fucking streets, dude. And now you're in there and it sounds like some new modern slavery. Would you rather have that or have them go into the penal system only to come out a more hardened criminal, when you could actually, through discipline, through actual leadership, turn these young men into something that could have a future? And when they come out of that system, they should have a business degree. They should know how to take care of their communities and start to rebuild. But is that what those in power really want, as a strong Black empowered community? No, they want a 501c George Floyd statue, shoot them up, gangster culture, shake your ass like a fucking whore, and get pregnant at 13 culture instead, because they can keep those people on the plantation under lock and key. The other way empowers them to become great humans. And that's not what they want. So until we have some system like that in place, what, are you just going to go lock up 12-year-olds? What do you think that's going to do for them, for their future? Even deporting people who have just interest in being farm migrant workers. Why don't we have a whole program to filter them through, instead of being like, El Salvador, you're fucking gone? Like, these are the shots back and forth in this war that are not for the people. The people are just the pawns. and the people are the ones that get sacrificed on this chessboard and die. Those are the shots back and forth of the deep state operators. You wanted to bring them in, I'm sending them to Alligator fucking Alley. Like there's no real argument with a solution that is being thought out and in place for the people that are truly being affected, which shows me that they don't give a fuck about Michael Jackson, right? They don't really care about us. And to show that if you go against Sony and the masters of LA, they'll smoke your fucking ass too, whether you're Michael Jackson, whether you're Prince or Britney Spears. Right? Like Anthony Bourdain. Whatever happened there?
Chester Bennington.
Yeah. And it goes on and on. So are we in a civil war? We've been here. And I don't think it looks like round up the boys, we're going against the National Guard. It's going to be very much a police state combing through the dark parts of America, but it won't truly be to re-educate. And even that's a dangerous term, because as soon as you say education camp, you're fucked. But now we need a new marketing term of how do we lock up young offenders and bring them to where they need to be. And it doesn't look like prison camp, but it needs to be prison camp, because you know why? You need a timeout off the streets. You need a father figure. You need to be rewired and have your mind put into a place of self-improvement, of patriotism, because if they can wire you through fucking drill rap hip hop to go out and kill your fucking neighbor because you think it's a status symbol, it shouldn't be too hard to take that malleable young brain and show them what they should be doing. But nobody's talking like that. Nobody's talking about a solution. So that means to me, everything is just shots fired back and forth of, you made this asshole move to fuck up the country, we'll make this asshole move to fuck up the country. And like I said, what does eye for an eye really get you?
Well, Ben, a lot of things there to unpack today. A lot of chat does seem to agree with what you're saying.
I'm not trying to say anybody's opinion or their cause is inferior. All I'm trying to do is say this is the way things really are operating. And if you're buying into these stories, sure, a man lost his life tragically, insane, but it's more than just this surface level. One leftist shooter got tired of what he did. This is a complete military operation. You, from the shot alone, nobody is making a 200-yard next shot. No civilian with one fucking round is making it at the right time. That is a trained sniper with a spotter in a second location and maybe other actors involved to try and slow things down in the response time as well. And who has the power to put that together? You think it's some guys that just got together in an apartment and decided to come up, we're going to kill Charlie Kirk? Highly, highly thought out. And then you ask yourself, why? What is the why behind doing that? Oh, he was a trans shooter who was fucking mentally unstable. Like, okay, here we go. So yeah, it's I'd like to say it's dark days in America, but I maybe I'm just I obviously feel I feel yay, but no, I feel very remorseful that I have to live in this type of climate that I feel like I know this is just my own ego. Like I feel like I failed. Like I wanted my character to pay off some of that heat and maybe cool and climb it off, but then I'm just a fucking asshole actor with delusions of grandeur thinking that. But then I also completely believe that satire is the most powerful weapon in all of media, and that's how you truly change people's minds. And hopefully podcasts like this where you say what I think the truths are, because it's all shrouded in mystery and cloak and dagger and hundreds of years of ruling class families that are battling that none of those TV stations will ever say their names on camera. And it all gets clouded as just an inside incident, just an individual standalone incident, when it's all much more than all of that, especially on 9/11. And our misdirection spots to look over here at this tragedy so you don't look at this tragedy and talk about it are getting more and more extreme. We just watched a fucking YouTube celebrity with truth and talking points get smoked in real time.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, forget, like, just that alone, when you put it in the context of that, and then it becomes timeline fodder. What are we as humans? And then you look back and go, what are we as humans? Well, we started out in the Coliseum fist fighting. Then we threw a sword in the ring. Then by the end of it, get the lions. See if the guys can hang out with the lions in there, right? Like, are we better as humans, as you put it? Or are we hardwired to self-destruct, to build empires, to tear them down, and to have those in power that get to dictate, and that the 85% plebs will always be easy to control and always be the pawns on the chessboard and follow whatever message it is while Rome burning Nero dances. Right?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
If Nero had TikTok, he would have been over.
yeah. Well, not to shift away from that, but we do have a couple of wrestling stories here that I wanted to get your thoughts on.
Sorry if I'm talking slow today, too. I try and choose my words a little more wisely with less profanity, but it's hard for me. I'm just a dumbass like everybody else, I guess.
So let's talk about some WWE. We got a couple WWE stories here. First off, TKO president Mark Shapiro stated that WWE was underpricing its tickets, particularly under previous management. This month, he talked with Goldman Sachs at the Goldman Sachs conference, and he said that the ticket yields had seen a meaningful increase since the merger, but the company still had work to do to reach the profitability of UFC. Shapiro noted that WWE is not where the UFC is yet on ticket yields, but the company's approach to live events is now modeled on the UFC's more profitable strategy. He said that the former WWE chairman Vince McMahon previously focused on pricing for families rather than fully focused on maximizing the opportunity. To boost revenue, WWE started using dynamic pricing, which adjusts ticket costs based on demand, and the scarcity of tickets for high-demand events gives the company more pricing power. News reports have, of course, highlighted the resulting price increases, especially for premium live events, as we saw earlier this year. Ringside seats for WrestleMania 42 are reportedly going for $70,000 in 2026. What are your thoughts on that? On TKO's president Mark Shapiro stating that we're moving toward ticket prices we're pricing out families, Ben.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. We got Jews in the house. Yeah, man. This is greed. This is absolute sheer greed. And also, how far will we push these tape trader, masturbator morons who don't really need a story? They're hooked to social media, and we can get them to do whatever we want them to do. And they're going to pay $70,000 to be on hard cam to watch a 38-year-old woman skip to the ring like a 12-year-old pedophile's dream. Like, if you can't look at yourself in the mirror after that and go, I am a fucking moron, I don't know what to tell you, but guess what? There's a lot of fucking morons out there. And it is insane. Like, it's funny he buries Vince, but fucking yeah, 18 to 49-year-olds is UFC, families is WWE. So you're already telling the family man, fuck you, I want more out of you. Meanwhile, he's got to buy football cleats, softball gloves, ballet lessons, and da-da-da. And all he wanted was to show his family that he could take them out to the circus for a night. And don't worry, Dad will get you a t-shirt. And remember when Dad took us and we saw Roman Reigns? Like, that's what the moment they want. And now that's going to cost you $300 for the upper deck nosebleed seats.
Yep. $247 for WrestlePalooza upper deck is what I saw.
So for a family of four, you expect Dad to pay $1,000 on a family income of possibly 40 to 70,000, let's say even 80,000 income. You're going to ask him to pay 1.5% of his fucking yearly income for one night for a shit box wrestling show. And Kaz put out the clip the other day, and I lay it out and I stand by exactly what I said. And then Disco retweets it. These guys still don't get it. And then here come the fucking trolls to like try and shit all over it. And I could give a fuck what any fan ever thinks who's never taken a bump, trained or drawn a ticket or anything in their life or worked with anybody of any notoriety. So none of that gets to me. But, you know, and hey, Disco plays a heel. He's putting over HMG. So that's a shine, bro. Like, I'm not going to be like, fuck. Everyone's like, Disco said this. I'm like, he's giving HMG a shine, bro. I'm not. That's where you don't understand as a worker. If he didn't give a fuck, he wouldn't say nothing about me. You know? I got no heat with him of like, this guy's an idiot. And he'll put over as these guys still don't get it. Okay. He's going to fuel the fire and we'll get engagement on that. He's a smart worker. But what argument do you want me to have? SmackDown had its lowest rating last week, 1.1, and Raw the week before was a 2.4 after their 1+1 million metrics, so 1.4. But I'm supposed to get into arguments with DI about fucking this is the best show ever, and I don't get it when the fucking CEO's going, we're going to rape you for more money. We're going to dangle you up. At the end of the show, Omos is going to meet everybody out by the exit, and he's going to dangle you upside down to get the change out of your pockets. Like, how far are we from that? And now you're going to have buyer's remorse. You ever go and buy a pair of expensive sneakers and the next day you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Why did I, you know, you're going to have that. And you're also going to have people now turn on you because you've given them sufficient ammo with your greed for them to come back at you because they want to go against the rich. The poor want to be rich, but they also want to do it by tearing the rich down so they can go, see, your money didn't mean shit while they pay it up. So it's a very strange gray area we're in now where I think backlash is coming because of these. And that guy shouldn't have said that out loud. They should have raised prices and kept raising them without ever saying, we're getting max value. We're fucking you over. We're giving you no better product. In fact, we're going to give you worse product and we're going to charge you more. Doritos 101. And the other part of that too is it dropped. I saw yesterday, and Dana White has a $25 million gambling debt to one casino that I think he's already banned from. So if it comes out, it's 25, you might as well call it 50 with that one. And if he's got it at one, does he have it at two? So let's call it 100 million. Okay. Now, why would anybody want to, I mean, you have wrestling's phony, but UFC, that's real. And we would never work a fight and hurt the integrity of MMA and our fucking sensei masters who taught us the discipline of that. No, we're not carny promoters at all. Oh no, I would never tell anybody to work a fight, but you know, if you see a casino put a heavy bet on somebody, you think Dana's not going to fucking give somebody the Iggy and go, I'll get you a title shot in 2 years if you lay out in this one and don't ask any questions. Then the casino puts $100 million down on that fucking long shot at 320 to 1 and walks away, and Dana can go back and play blackjack in the back room again. But I'm supposed to listen to Shapiro go, ticket prices are going up, while Dana White owes $25 million at fucking blackjack table. This shit's been the exact same since Barnum and Bailey, early boxing days. It's all corrupt. And now they do it with Logan Paul Jake Paul. right in front of your fucking face with Mike Tyson and Mayweather or whoever else, bro, for a payday. And we're supposed to sit here and go, it's all real. Just like our government, it's all real.
Well, Rick brings up my other story that I was going to say. As of telling us we need to pay more wasn't enough, they turn around and they sell WrestleMania to Saudi. So it's been heavily rumored for a while now, and it appears a deal has been struck to bring the biggest wrestling show in the world to Saudi Arabia in 2027. The news began to make the rounds on social media Wednesday afternoon after Saudi Arabian advisor Turkey Al-Sheikh made the announcement during...
Sounds delicious. Deuce, give me a turkey Al-Sheikh while you're out.
The rough translation of his comments were WrestleMania has been announced for the first time outside of America, WrestleMania in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in 2027. Mike Johnson, a PW insider, has confirmed the announcement's authenticity, saying there was a press release that was issued in Arabic earlier in the day, but it was pulled shortly after being sent out. It was apparently an accident before it was scheduled to be publicly issued. What do you think about that? Them actually moving WrestleMania, not a Royal Rumble, not Survivor Series, not SummerSlam, but they're putting their Super Bowl in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, dude, we're looking at it through Americana USO show Vince McMahon's eyes. What did Shapiro just say?
They want to make more money, and they don't really care about the common fan anymore at this point.
They want to make money so much they don't care about
the working
IDF and Zionists that really that they go to synagogue with, that they're willing to take money from fucking the group that they fucking apparently hate the most. They hate the most. Sami Zayn has all the integrity in the world, and he would never go and do this, that, or the other, and then he'll go do this, that, or the other, right? These comics who are openly gay and podcasters who made their names speaking truth like I do, now are taking $375,000 to go to a country that throws gays off the roof and who knows what else, closet, that if you came out of the closet at the wrong time. For those that want to build mega cities and then they bring in immigrant workers, and part of the deal is that they hold on to your passport. So now you're an indentured servant, slave, but we don't talk about that because who's going to build these fucking high rises? Not the Saudi royal family. And they're like, we got to save on costs. So how do we do that? Let's bring in fucking slave workers and hold them captive. But we can't talk about that because we're getting WrestleMania. It's all window dressing, bro, for their 2030 project. There's $680 billion in the public fund, probably more now. That was when I checked it 2 years ago. And now people who speak openly and make jokes about, to satirically make light of this crazy world we live in are now, they got in with the Joe Rogan gang. Now they're taking payoffs openly. And the Horsemen have been over here for years saying, yeah, dude, we just want the fucking money. So Conspiracy Horsemen will be having their podcast live from Saudi WrestleMania weekend. If you guys need us, we'll be over there. No, like it shows you there is no integrity.
The number's up to 1 trillion, by the way.
$1 trillion.
Yeah, has a value of more than 1 trillion assets under management of AUM as of July.
What is the cost that it will take for you to sell out your religion that you claim to be so hardcore a part of? What will it take to sell out your LGBTQ righteousness? What will it take to sell out your country that usually has WrestleMania as its Super Bowl event for people from the world to come to America, to now put it over there? Integrity has been sold on every front to these people. And that is the power of the almighty oil-backed dollar. And, they're just going to keep doing it. So now where are we? And I go back to this, like, we're better as humans. We're allowing them to do slavery openly. We're allowing them to keep women, and even Triple H put this out the other day. WWE has helped the cause of women and women's rights in Saudi, because now his own women have to come out in full fucking neck down, titty tight covering. So it's not like you're not seeing anything, but because there's no flesh, Muhammad and Allah, they talked it out and everything's going to be cool. We'll all still, get into heaven that way. But that set a tone that now women can start to westernize. And I don't doubt that bin Salman has to make some of those constant shifts between the progressives with the money versus the old school zealots who fucking want to believe some shit from 600 AD, in their ridiculous religious fanaticism. I cut no one cloth here, dude. There is no, because they're, Charlie Hebdo, sure. Like, none of that here. So it comes down to greed, money, buying people's integrity, that your moral compass and moral code, where you judged yourself as a righteous human who could speak openly because you didn't sell out, you've sold out. And it's fine. Just say it and don't act like, but you don't get to have moral integrity anymore and speak to people honestly with a high ground of understanding where I respect you, because it was more important that you take a one-time payday at $375,000, Tim Dillon, and fucking make light of it. And in fact, almost all of these comedian podcasts are completely compromised in CIA assets at this point. Like, Theo Vaughn doesn't get to talk to fucking vice president and everybody else out of nowhere. Rogan obviously tied in with Ari and the rest of these guys and can get those types of deals, deep state deals done. And Tim Dillon, a gay podcaster out of nowhere, is now being invited to Saudi Arabia so they can use him to look progressive because they won't murder him there. But what are they doing down the road behind closed doors? What happens when that comes out and you took the 375? Well, welcome to entertainment, folks. We're all scumbags. Yeah. Yep. Carnies, queers, and addicts, and now terrorists. So that is why WrestleMania is done. Like, they're trying to play off these nostalgia pops during the Vince era, but all it is to fucking ride this product like a NASCAR all the way to the finish line for every fucking dollar out of it. That's why they didn't give a fuck to take away John Cena's final match from Boston. How much more tone deaf could you be to your fan base and the crowd? And dude, if I was that Boston crowd next time WWE came, I would fucking raise hell there, even if Cena was there. Just that they're fucking with you. Isn't New Orleans been effed over twice as well now on shows? This company doesn't care about being an American company, even if it was global. It was like kind of the Trojan horse to bring America and have a common ground of, we all love wrestling, whether I'm in Japan, UK, Saudi, Milwaukee, wherever. And now it's going to be, they're fucking us over for ticket prices on every continent. The fans will be united by getting fleeced by Ari and Mark Shapiro. So, this is when corporations run everything. Corporations want one thing, bottom line, dollar. They don't care about the moment. They don't care about your family and what they can or can't get from them. It's always an upsell with brand added value. And now they've got the belt, and they bought that belt. Then the algorithm says they'll buy these products. And now, how far away are we from the story of the hero's journey in the ring that we actually want to pay attention to? We've had to go through all this fleecing of money. I don't feel good about what I've done here.
Yeah, I don't get it either, man. The product isn't the best, but they're just making hand over fist more money.
Are they? Not with Steph's VPN, they're not.
Well, that's not with Steph's VPN. You're right. Surfshark.
Yeah, and maybe they are making more money, but they're doing it at the cost of killing the legacy of wrestling. Not that it has a great legacy, or maybe that legacy should be killed. You could argue either way, but they're probably looking at Disney, where WWE looks at NFL I bet TKO looks at Disney on how to get max value out of their property, from dolls to lunch boxes to backpacks to ticket prices. What Disney World when I was a kid cost fucking, I think $35 a person per day. And now what is it? You know,
150 to 200 per person per day.
Right. 300%, 400% increase. And that's just for the fucking scrub. You want to get in the lightning line, Deuce. We're going all the way to Space Mountain, pal. You know, all that extra add-on shit, bro. VIP experiences.
$20 for one slice of pizza.
Get them every single way. And you got to get the fucking Mickey ears. You got to get the Alexa Bliss doll. You got to get the fucking Oscar mask. You got to get the Penta mask. You got to get the, like, that to me is exactly what they're doing. Even in that shitty scene between CM Punk and AJ Lee and Becky and Seth, I felt like I was at a Disney park and somebody was about to come out and like do interludes. And now we're going to go over here where Becky and Seth are mad backstage, and now let's see who's going to come out. You guys, who do you think it is? Let's get a chant going for AJ. Like, there's got to be some shitty college actress like that's leading this ride. That's what I felt like while I was watching that. It was just like, I couldn't believe how bad the acting was from people who've been in this business for 20 fucking years. It felt like I was watching a terrible fucking Disney show.
Well, Ben, that's all I've got for you today. I know you got stuff to take care of. You got to run along, get taking care of your different things happening in the world.
Yeah, man, an intense day in America, an intense show, and fucking, you know, people were right in the DMs yesterday as soon as that happened. So usually I try not to be like, yeah, I've seen it. I just kind of no sell. At the end of the day, I'm going to see everything. Everybody sees everything, right? And I wish I had some advice to offer, especially on this 24th anniversary of the biggest attack so far, you know, and we still refuse to hold those accountable for that. And even this Andy Warhol level 15 minutes of shame of what we're doing as a society in killing our philosophers openly. I wish I could say that is exactly like Rome and Greece in the days of Sophocles, and they were doing the same thing. If you were an open thinker and open speaker and went against what the Lord of the Manor said that benefited his family and whatnot, you were exiled, you were asked to kill yourself, or you were eliminated. And that's, I don't think we do change, Matt. It's unfortunate. I was kind of like looking at the full moon last night, questioning where my place is on this earth and where my focus should be, and thinking about today and what needs to be said. I don't even know if I've conveyed it, if I've conveyed anything to do more than just reinforce what's in our listeners' minds that they already know. Maybe that's my place for today, but I try and think, as I read Marcus Aurelius and other Stoics, it seems like the foundation of man is stuck in this fucking never-ending loop of power struggle, money greed, and fuck your buddy and kill your enemies at any cost, while living under the guise of love and enlightenment, and still allowing.
They just shut down Ben Hameen right here at the tail end of the show. They were just like,
the darkness to be the overriding force in. They didn't like that. Just the darkness is the overriding force in everybody's decisions.
And YouTube didn't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't doubt that, bro. They don't like a lot of things I do. So I like a lot of things that we had today on this show. Serious discussions in the locker room, man. Like it's the way she goes sometimes. And all we can do is try and live our lives to the fullest and let the people we know around us that we love and care about them and watch out for their well-being and not put ourselves into positions where things like this could happen, you know? So it'll be interesting to see the fallout, but I don't know if anybody will even start talking about, like we said today, what does that shot alone tell you? Just what it takes to make that shot. That just opens up Pandora's box where no major news organization is going because they're all state sponsored. Well, we're paid for by viewer support and Ben Hameen and all the great work that HMG staff does on YouTube. So make sure you share those videos, like, subscribe, so we can keep generating that revenue and hopefully give you guys a not so safe space to interact with us and keep putting it out there. But like I said, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg of Bizarro Land. And in 60 days, when we're mid-November and who knows what is happening, all of this will be like, remember the good old days when we just had to deal with assassinations? You know, like that could be 2 months from now. So as long as the internet's in place, we'll try and keep on air and stay locked. And we got to go back to ham radio, then I imagine we'll probably end up doing that too, because nobody likes hearing the sound of their own voice in the headphones more than me and MSG. Check out the Suck My Balls podcast, which probably actually helped with the assassination of Charlie Kirk after their last episode as well. So heat on Maddie and, Matt, what else going on with you, buddy?
Not much else, guys. Yeah, as you mentioned, at South Park Pod on YouTube. Check out SMB, a South Park review on all podcast outlets. Look out for the movie Modern Folklore movie.
Yeah.
Modern Folklore coming out October 17th on streaming services. And what do you got? What did you have going on this week on Master Shoot Theater, Ben?
Oh, what did we do, we talked more. Jesus, I can't remember. It was funny. I know it was that. Because the week before was Vince's birthday party, but this week he was posing for a statue, and there was a lot of Epstein grooming going on in that. Oh, we were going to elementary school to recruit for wrestler babies, like Muppet Babies show he wanted to develop. So we're gonna get a bunch of kids on gas and get some jacked up little kids, and classic Benson douche shenanigans, when it
Patreon.com/RussoTWC. You can check that out. Sign up today for the Russo brand content. You can also check out the Raw and SmackDown review, where I'm sure Ben, Stevie, and Russo went through all that.
It was a hot show with AJ Lee stuff and whatnot, and then I'm sure Disco will have his feelings about it, but make sure you get your WrestlePalooza tickets. Now only $470,000, upper decks. And if you don't want to spend money on that, you can always go to prowrestlingtees.com/Ben Hameen and get your Conspiracy Horseman shirt on or Wu-Tang, whatever it is. And if not, come check me out at Raven's Joint. As the world turns, I spread like germs. Bless the gold with the pestilent. The hard-headed never learn. Here on the Friday Locker Room, Infidels. YOLO.
We are in control.